morning, students. Myself, Dr. Shirisha, Associate Professor, MLR Institute of Technology from Dept of CSE. So today we are going to see about Android User Interface Design Essentials. As we have covered few topics from this, we are going to continue few topics based on the design essentials in the Android. So these are the topics we'll be covering in the next coming sessions. So Spinner is just like a list view, like how the data can be listed. Number of items can be listed. Then checkbox is where you will be having a multiple boxes and you can just check it and uncheck them. So you can check them by selecting them, and by using the checkbox, multiple options can be selected from the given list. Then radio button, from among the given list, you can only select one of the list. By using the radio group, we'll group all the radio buttons. So radio button and radio group are both belong to the same family, where radio group makes all the radio buttons to make us a single group. And design a sample registration form. We'll see the sample registration form of by using all the components that we have discussed so far. Then we also have image view and video view. Image view is where image can be displayed. Video view is where video can be displayed. And sample video playing application. By using this video view, we will take help of small video and we'll see how to play that video using the Android application. Then we also have different components like toggle button, switch, where toggle button is something like where you'll have like on off. So this can toggle in between these two states so that you can either show it as either of the state. Okay. So switch is also something like on and off, where you will be differentiating between the on and off, or true or false, like that, switching between the two states. So both are similar, but the look is different. In sample Wi-Fi application, we can see and scroll view, list view, along with the scroll view, where it scrolls the page vertically and it also scrolls the page horizontally. Then list view is where again you will have a drop down list or drop down list is like a spinner, and where you can list the items 1, 2, 3. So this is the list, and this is where this is the spinner. And sample contacts application. So these are the different user design essentials, where you can design one layout using any of the layout. Within the layout, we can use these number of components. So how to use a spinner? A view that displays one child at a time. A view that displays only one child at a time when you have multiple children. Lets the user pick up among them. That is whatever I have told you. There is a drop down list. So you have a drop down here and you have multiple options here. Say 1, 2, 3, 4. But among all the 4, how many you can visible at a time? Only 1. So that is what displays one child at a time means. Among the given number of items, n number of items, only one item is displayed. So that is what spinner. Spinner can be displayed using the component called spinner itself. So spinner. Then for this also, for any component, by default, we have to give ID to recognize that ID and to extract it in the other pages or other main activity.java, other activities. So Android (ID) is given as @ +ID slash the name. So this is again user defined. This is user defined. A user can give his own user defined, means his own name to identify the spinner. So Android layout width, layout height. Layout width means how much width the spinner has to take. Suppose if you have this much of activity, you want the complete activity should be, complete spinner should occupy the complete width of your activity, then it will be displaying like this. So what is this? This is the match parent. Then you have to change this wrap content to what? Match parent. Okay. Similarly, Android layout height. Layout height we cannot give match parent because your activity includes all the different components below and the top of this component. So what we have to do? We have to wrap content. That means whatever the height you are giving, so that much height only will be taken. So as a wrap content, if your content is having using this much of size, then only this much of height is used by the spinner. So that's a width and height. Now, this is about the design layout. So once this design is done, then how to extract the spinner into your activity, main activity.java. Then these are the methods that are used. So void set adapter. Set adapter will take one parameter adapter. So the set adapter will set all the items of a particular spinner into the spinner component, and that is, this adapter is used to display the items within the spinner. And this set adapter method will set all the items into the spinner, and it will set using this adapter interface. Then coming to checkboxes. Spinner is where you drop down, where you can use in the place of the drop down list, and this is where we are using a checkbox. So checkbox is where multiple options were given, and you have to select multiple options, not one, more than one. If you wanted to select, then we'll be giving the checkboxes. This is checkbox. So checkbox is specific type of two-state button. So to why we call two-state button? Because we have to set it, check it or uncheck it. So this toggle button, the switch, these are also the two-state buttons where it changes the state from on to off or off to on and true to false or false to true. So that can either be checked or unchecked. So checking will be this one, just tick mark. So if you uncheck it, so unchecking is nothing but just removing the tick mark. Then checkbox. The tag that is used, that means the component that is used to get this type of checkbox is again checkbox itself. Checkbox, we have a default parameters that you wanted to give to checkbox component. That is, one is the ID, and the ID you have to give layout width, layout height. Since layout width and height, it cannot use the complete activity width and complete activity height also. So we cannot give match parent here. They cannot give. So we have to give wrap content. Therefore, your data will be, your checkbox will be aligned only only within the small amount of area. So this is a height and width. Then text pizza. Suppose if you are, whatever the text you are giving after your checkbox, so that text will be displayed here. So this will be displayed as pizza. That's your first item. Similarly, if you wanted to place second item, so this will be the second item. Checkbox 1 is given here and it is closed by the shorthand type. And this checkbox starts with the second checkbox and here you are closing. So what is the second item that you are giving? Coffee. Now these are the two items that you have designed using this code. But here if you see, here also you have checkbox, here also we have checkbox. The ID is different. You have to give the ID different, where this is again user defined. Okay, user defined is where the user will give the input as a checkbox name. So by using this name, you are extracting the checkbox 1, that is pizza, into your activity main. Similarly, by using checkbox 2, what is this checkbox 2? This is the ID of a particular checkbox, that is second checkbox. Both are checkboxes only, but you're differentiating both by using this ID. So here 2 is not there. If you're giving 2, again there will be an ambiguity which one should be extracted. So that is why we are giving a unique IDs for the checkboxes. So this is a design part. Once design part is over, this components, the checkbox component has to be extracted to your Java file also. How you are extracting to your Java? Using set onChecked change listener. Whenever you are clicking on this, you are selecting the checkbox, you are marking the checkbox. That means among tea and milk. So how many of them are being checked? Only 2. That means these are the 2 checkboxes that are enabled, but these are the 2 checkboxes that are disabled. Now what are the values that you have to extract when you are extracting the checkboxes to your activity, main activity? Only 2, pizza and coffee. These 2 has been enabled, right? These 2 are disabled, so these 2 should not extract. So for that, what we have to do is we have to use a listener. Event handling should be done. So set onChecked change listener. OnChecked means what? Whatever the checkboxes you have checked, that is onChecked change listener. Suppose if you are not checking this, then this should not be extracted. So that will not check because it is not checked. On checked only it will extract. That is setting. It will set them. Okay, this is the method that is used to extract the checkboxes that are enabled. Okay, this is a radio button. We'll see a sample example of checkbox by after this components are finished. So similar to checkbox, we also have a radio button. Checkbox is taking a multiple inputs by checking the checkboxes. Where radio button will be used with the help of radio group, but only when you group them. So all these are grouped together, but whatever the value you are enabling, so only that value will be extracted. So this is enabled, only this value should be extracted. Suppose you have coffee, pizza, tea, milk. So I am selecting something like coffee. Now how many values you are enabling? Only one value. Suppose if you are selecting pizza, then automatically your coffee will get disabled. So because you have enabled this. So this is the difference between the checkbox and the radio button. Now coming to the Android design part, how that is differentiated. Radio group is the parent tag for the radio button. So radio group is taking the ID, @ID radio group, and width and height. Width means what? It will fill parent, means match parent. Wrap content means what? How much text that is being used, only that much height is used. Similarly, this radio group is having a width and height, again default parameters. Again, how many radio buttons you want, that many radio button components you can use. For spinner, we are using spinner as a component. For checkbox, we are using checkbox as a component. For radio button, again we are using radio button as a component. But radio button is a subtag of your radio group. So radio button, layout width, height, then ID. ID is again how many radio buttons you have. So those radio buttons has to be differentiated. So 1, 2, 3, 4 radio buttons if you are giving, you have to give radio 1, radio 2 or something like this. Again this is user defined. Radio 3, just to differentiate between the different radio buttons, we are trying to give the ID. Okay. Android text. So this is text that is displayed for the first radio button. So something like without giving coffee. So here it is given as DBMS. So first checkbox will be like DBMS, and the second checkbox is given something other. So you can just make it C or C++ programming. So that is the difference between the checkbox and the radio button. But radio button having a parent tag like radio group, but your checkbox doesn't have any parent tag like check group or something like that. Only radio button is having, because when one is enabled, the other options should get disabled. So to have the access between those radio buttons, what we are doing, we are grouping them together by using this component radio group. Okay, then. And this is an example program where I wanted to show you with the help of the components like checkbox or radio button. So here we have used a checkbox. If you are replacing checkbox with the radio button, it will be the example for radio button. So this is an example program using linear layout. This is a linear layout where sequentially the data will be, or the components will be displayed in the within the activity. So XMLNS is a namespace. Tools, this is also a namespace for tools and for Android. So since this is a namespace, this Android is used as a prefix for every component, and whatever the namespace is defined for Android and tools, that can be visible here within this part. Then coming to width and height, we are taken match parent because we are talking about the complete layout, linear layout. This complete layout will be affected. So complete layout means it has to be match parent, not wrap content. So match parent means the height of your mobile should be equals to your height of your layout. That is match parent. Similarly, the width. Okay, then the complete width is used. Okay, layout is over. Now what we have to do? Orientation. Orientation should be vertical. Vertical means what? Here one component is displayed. After this, linearly means sequentially, the data should be displayed in the vertically in the next component and vertically below to the first component. So how much should be the padding? Is the padding should be 16 TP. And tools.context means main activity. This XML program, this is activity underscore main.xml. So this program has to be binded with your Java program. So the main activity. Now checkbox. Checkbox, as I told you, we have to give ID, width, height, and something, the text to be displayed for your checkbox. And there are other alternative options that you can include along with all these default parameters. Okay. Now, if you see here for the layout, we have given match parent, and for this checkbox, we are giving it as a wrap content. Okay. Similarly, one more checkbox we have taken, one more checkbox, and finally we have taken one button. Now, whatever the checkboxes you are selecting, so all should be extracted when you click on the submit button. So we have given one submit button. So here is the design part. Now from this design part where we have to extract all these checkboxes to your main activity.java. So we go to main activity.java. So here you have package will be built when you open your application, when you create your application, empty view activity. Then these are the different libraries that you have to import, where OS bundle by default, view is to all the view group together can be accessed by using this library. Similarly, we have used different components like button and checkboxes. So one button widget and one for checkbox widget we have used. And one toast message also we are doing. So toasting is just displaying the message in the output. So for which we are using a toast. For this, we have to use android.widget.toast library. Similarly, app compact activity. Because until and unless you have your activity, all your components like buttons, checkboxes cannot be displayed. So you have to first import the activity. Okay. Then public class main activity, a default activity, extends app compact activity, a complete application. Okay. Whatever the methods and interfaces that you have in the app compact activity are now used by your main activity. Now, if you see, first will be on create, super.onCreate, set content view. All this we are being discussing from the past 2 units. Okay. Now, coming to actual component that we have used here. What is the component that we have used? Checkbox. How many checkboxes? If you see, 1, 2 and 3. 3 checkboxes we have used. Now, what we have to do? Checkbox is a class where you are creating an object, and that checkbox 1, 2, 3 are the IDs of checkbox 1. Checkbox 2 is the ID of checkbox 2. Checkbox 3 for the third checkbox. So all these IDs are being extracted by using or.id. What is or? Or is a resource. Or is a resource. Resource.id. Your name of the component. Name of the component. So from this you are extracting. So by using the method what? Find view by ID. As the name indicates, you are viewing by what? You are viewing by ID. And you are storing that into the object checkbox 1, checkbox 2, checkbox 3. Over. Similarly for button, find view by ID or.id.button. Button is the name of the button you have given into your XML. See here. What is the name of the button? It is button only. So we are extracting that button here. Similarly, we are having a button class with a button object. We are storing this here. Now, all your components of your XML have been extracted into your main activity.java. Now, what is the action listener or event handler that you have to use for button? Set on click listener, because button is a event handler. When you are clicking on the button, some action should be performed. So that we are doing from the, in all the examples we have seen. So set on click listener, view on click listener, on click button, on click method with the view component. Okay. So here if you see, actual code is this only. Actual business logic is this part. String builder, selected options. String builder is a class where you are giving some object selected options, where you have a string builder method. It is taking all the selected options. Okay, you have to use the string builder class. Now from in here, if checkbox 1 is checked, checkbox 1 means what? The first item. If it is checked or not, if how do you know when you have a checkbox? If it is ticked, then this is checked will be true. Is checked means whether it is checked or not. That will become true. If this is true, you have to append it. Append means add that option. Similarly, checkbox is second checkbox. It will check whether it is checked or not. No, it is not checked. Then it will not go into the selected options. Similarly, third one. Again, you are selecting 1 and 3. This is checked. Now it will append. Append this to what? First one. Now both will be selected. Now toast.make text. Toast is what which displays the text in the output. Make text means you are giving some text to display. Main activity dot this text should be displayed where? In your main activity. Selected options to string. Selected options means what? Option 1 and option 3. Why? Which are enabled. That to string. Then toast.length, length long means how much time your activity should display your toast message. That length is given by using length long. You have length short also, shorter period of time. Dot show will display the message. Dot show will be displaying the message. So this is about the checkbox. Okay. So let us see both the checkbox and registration form also, sample registration form also I will show you directly in the Android Studio. Now this is a checkbox where we have, okay, where we have discussed the same program in the session. So this is a linear layout with how many checkboxes? 1, 2 and 3 checkboxes with some text, option 1, 2, 3 and one button. Okay, and all these 3 checkboxes along with the button are been given into your main activity.java. So here if you see all the components that this is the package because you have given your application name as checkbox. So this is your package and this is the app compact activity. These are the libraries for view because you are viewing all the components. For button, you have used checkbox, you have also used toast message in your main activity.java. Now here main class main activity extends app compact activity. Now checkbox 1, 2, 3, find view by ID. Whatever the IDs you have given, that you have given. Okay, this is what I have explained. Okay, toast message and all. Now, you can just run it. Now, my application is launched succeeded. Now if you see, this is the emulator which is showing you the options. How many options, how many checkboxes we have given? 3. Now only 1 I have selected. Just submit. Now selected options are what? Option 2. Now let me change 1 to, now submit. Now selected options are option 1 and option 2. Now how you are getting this message? That is because of toast. Now in toast what we have given? Main activity. Okay, selected options dot to string. Selected options means what? Selected options we have appending, right? Selected options we are appending here. So this message selected options is displayed there and along with the appended checkboxes. If I select all the 3 are been selected. Okay, this is how you have to execute your program using the activity_main for designing part and main activity.java for your business logic. Okay, the emulator for seeing the output. Now let me show you a registration also. Your entire linear layout should be at the center of the activity. Then edit text 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 5 edit text, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 edit text. And one button is submit button. This is the registration page we have considered here. So what is the first one is? First one to enter the first name and then enter the last name and here date and here enter email address. Similarly enter password. Okay, now in the main activity, whatever the components we have used, view component for all the edit text and buttons. So one button, one edit text, and here we are toasting some message. Okay, so we are using this toast library. And edit text, 5 edit text, so ET1 to ET5, and one button, so B1. Now here we have whatever the buttons we have, whatever the edit text we have used in the view component, all that we are placing in ET1 to ET5, and button, when one is clicked, when that button is clicked, you are setting a on click listener. Means when a button is clicked, some action should be performed. So what is that action should be performed? You're taking first name, last name, date of birth, everything, and you're converting to string and putting into the string, and that string is displayed here, and get application context you're passing to your toast message, and length of this displaying should be length long. So what is that message that you need to display? You need to display you have entered. Okay, so see here, let me give something like this. Okay, just click on submit. Now what is happening? Whatever you have entered, that you are showing here. Okay, so this is a sample page, registration page using some components. So whatever the components that we have discussed, like checkboxes, radio button, scroll view, and list view, and also various image buttons, and also video playing, whatever you want, that all you can include into either registration page and make it more designer or more attractive. Okay, so hope you all understood the registration page also. Thank you all.